Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Destiny Awaits podcast. I am your host, Andrea John, and I know that this looks very different. We are going to have a bit of a different episode today. We were going to continue our Jesus Speaks series. However, Mike and I recorded the same episode 3 times. And if it wasn't one thing that went wrong, it was another. And the last version was such an awesome conversation. But the sound, I don't know. My brother was on FaceTime with me for the longest time trying to help me figure it out. And I didn't want to release it like that because it just would have been so annoying to your ears. So now we ran out of time. We don't have time to do a podcast together. So I decided to go a little bit of a different route and for a few reasons. And I just think that this is something that so many of you would appreciate me sharing because I know that I love when people share stuff like this. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my health journey and what has worked for me and the reasons why. For those of you who are new, you don't know me. I am a domestic violence survivor. I also am a cancer survivor. I have a very busy life. I'm 43. I'm deep in menopause, perimenopause, according to my record. So I've really been working on my health. Health and fitness has been a passion of mine for the longest time. So there's a lot here, but don't get overwhelmed because I'm going to explain it. We have everything from food to supplements, skincare, all the things. But a disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I am not a medical professional. I am not a scientist, a biologist. I am none of those things. I am just a regular person like you trying to thrive in life. I refuse to just live through life. I want to thrive. And my main goal in life is to live until I'm 120 years old. You have heard it right. My overall umbrella goal is to live that till I'm 120 years old. Why? Because I have a purpose in life, and my purpose is to help people find their purpose and live their best life. And I want to be on earth as long as possible to do that. Now, me living till I'm 120 doesn't end there. I actually require myself to be fully functional and independent. So, my health today is matters. It matters for then. So I'm all in the things. So that's my disclaimer. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not telling you to do these things. I'm simply sharing my story. And also remember that we are all bio individual people. So what works for me may not work for you. I have a big pet peeve nowadays when I hear people say, you must do this, you must do that. Everyone might, if it worked for me, it's going to work for you. There are basic things that, yes, and I may point some of those things out today, but just keep in mind that there's no absolute. My deficiencies aren't going to be your deficiencies. Your genes are different from my gene expressions. So I'll share as much as I can, show the difference, and then you go out and research. I'm also going to share with you some excellent podcasts. They're also available on YouTube that's going to give you a lot of information you can explore. Google, research everything. Even my regular podcasts or Bible studies. Don't ever take my word for it or Mike's word for it. You need to go out and do your own research because it's your thoughts, it's your beliefs, and you need to understand why you think, believe, and do the things that you do. Okay, so there's that. Okay, the other thing is, remember that my goal is to live till I'm 120. That's my personal goal. So my goal is longevity, and not longevity to look younger, not longevity to decrease in age, but longevity to live into old age in a healthy, natural way, the way God designed. That is my purpose. Your goal may be different from that. Your goal may be something that's unique and you have no, like, I know tons of people who have no interest to live until they're 120. So your goals and things are going to look a little bit different. I Generally speaking, I'm an endurance athlete. I've run marathons, ultras. I was training for one, but after my cancer diagnosis, actually during the diagnosis, after surgery, during chemo, I continued long distance running, believe it or not. But after I was done, going into research, I decided to back off the long distance. I still run because I love it, but I decided to back off the long distance because it doesn't lend itself to longevity. It's a lot of pounding on your body, and I already have some degeneration on my spine. So I had to shift my goals a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then lastly, I don't know how long this podcast episode is going to last. You may not be interested in some of the things that I'm going to be talking about, or you may just want to know about one thing. That's fine. I'm going to put in the show notes a breakdown of the different topics we cover and the time, the time. So you can just fast forward if you want. So this is merely for me to share information. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional in this area. I used to be a certified personal trainer, a USATF coach, running coach, and a group fitness instructor. But I'm just a regular person who loves to research, loves health and wellness. Most of the podcasts I listen to are health related. It's either Bible or health related. Most are health related. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to divide up this podcast to share the information, but I'm going to do my best to stay in an organized fashion to not throw you off. So before you fast forward, hold on one second because I want to share one more thing. When I finished chemo, I knew that I had to detox and I needed to get healthy again. But the one thing I knew is that habit stacking was going to be the best way to do it. Overhauling your life is not the most effective way to do things. In the last podcast episode, I touch on this. It's better for you to start small and then create a habit and habit stack. Okay. So I'm going to show you lots of things here today. I did not start with all of this at one time. I've been building up to it. So that's why I'm saying, I'm going to talk about things. You may be interested in some things more than others. Feel free to fast forward if you want to the section in the show notes. You'll see an outline, but pick what's most important to you, right off the bat. Start with that. What's going to be easier? What's your quick win? What's easy for you? Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is there are certain things that I started with last year. And then I stacked the habit for different reasons because I learned things. Instead of going through that, I think I'm going to work through my day and what my day looks like to help us organize going over all this information. So first, I wake up. Nowadays, this is a new thing. I wake up at 4:15ish because I have a class at 5 o'clock that I go to. Alicia, about 2 months ago, wanted to add CrossFit to her regimen to help with her wrestling. So I've wanted to do CrossFit since she was a little girl. I just didn't for many different reasons. So I was like, if you're doing it, I'm doing it. So we both bit the bullet. Now Anna's in it too, and we're going to CrossFit. That has been such a game changer for me because of my biology and my genes and the way my body works. So I actually am great at endurance, which is why I've done marathons and stuff. Mentally, I'm so good at it. I'm not fast, but I can do it. I really lend that to my mental toughness. But intensity is where my body thrives. I thrive on those intense workouts. I don't know why, I just do. I've been there 7 weeks. This is my 7th week. And I think it's my 6th week or 7th week. I have gained 5 pounds, but I have lost inches. Definitely have gotten some muscles on me. I've also noticed my face is thinning, my stomach is flatter. So the last 2-3 weeks, I haven't lost any inches, but somehow my stomach and face look flatter. Can't explain it. It's probably bloating and things like that. But again, I don't want to attribute that just to CrossFit because I'm doing lots of things to help, right? So if you like to lift weights, you like to intensity, it's great. The other great thing about it is community. Community, when it comes to longevity, if you look at the blue zones, community is a huge part of health. So having a community around you, doesn't matter what kind of community, family, friends, clubs, whatever, is awesome. And the CrossFit community is one that I absolutely love. So I'm just loving it all the way around. Now, what I was doing before, when I started last year was I kept running, but I wasn't doing long distance. I was doing shorter runs, and I was focusing more on sprinting and doing HIIT type training. So I was doing that paired with hot yoga. Now, for the Christians out there, there are Christians who don't like yoga, and I hear you. And one day I will do a podcast all about yoga. But what I will tell you is that I had two reasons for doing it. One, I needed, well, three. One, the heat works like a sauna, and I needed to sweat. I needed to detox. But I also needed to work on my mobility, and I also needed to work out some of the tightness that I had in certain areas that I felt were holding on to trauma, because our bodies hold on to trauma. Trauma is not just a spiritual thing. It's not just a mind thing. It's also your body. Your body holds on to, your cells hold on to memories. So, with that being said, there are going to be things here today that I'm not going to get into details about because we don't have enough time. But what we'll do is, if there's something that I'm mentioning that you want me to dive deeper into, put it in the comments for me, because maybe what I'll do is I'll do like podcast snacks where we can dive deeper into certain things so you can get a little bit more information. But that's why I did hot yoga. Let me tell you something. I had a lot of healing in hot yoga. There were times where I would start crying in class. Most of the time it was when there were hip openers. And this is something that I learned about. We tend to hold our emotions in our hips or in our shoulders. My shoulders weren't too bad, although some people would disagree. But I held a lot in my hips. And when I started opening up my hips, I actually released a lot. I mean, it was a game changer. So that's a topic for another day. I'm not doing hot yoga right now anymore simply because CrossFit, it's very expensive. So I had to give something up. So I gave up that. However, I'm still working on my mobility and my flexibility every single day. And I have to tell you, I paired with strength training, what a difference. Like, I don't have pain in my back anymore. I was having sciatica. That's almost gone. It's incredible. And there's techniques that I've been doing. I've been doing like PT every day on my own. I'm not going to PT. I'm doing it on my own. I've been disciplined enough. Game changer. Okay. So I go now. We need to fuel ourselves when we go work out that hard. Everyone in this thing is different. From what I've read, this is the one thing I will say. Some people say you must eat before you go. You must fast. Everyone has a different thing to say. What I'll say is you need to find out what works for you, because all of our bodies are different. So what I'll tell you is I don't like to eat before, but I do feel like I need the energy. So I'll tell you what I do there. Then there's the after. You need to fuel after. This is a non-negotiable. After your workout, you need to fuel. So primary fueling, you have to think like this. Food is not for pleasure. Yes, we enjoy food. Trust me, I love food, okay? But my mentality around food has completely shifted. Food is for fuel. It's to nourish and heal my body. That is what it's for. When we have celebrations and things like that, yes, I will enjoy my food. And trust me, I will, this is so good all day long. But on a regular basis, I am eating for fuel, nutrition, and healing. So there's that. Okay, so what do I personally do before my workout? One, you always start your day with water. Every day, non-negotiable. This is one of those things. Remember I said we're all different, but there are some things that's just logical. We all need to do. Water in the morning. Sometimes I will add apple cider vinegar to it. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I add lime and apple cider vinegar. It depends. Lime, I like lime better than lemon because of the taste, but that's all up to you. That helps with our gut bacteria, gets our digestive system going, and all of that. But the one thing I always add to my water, regardless, is salt. And I personally use Celtic salt. I started with pink Himalayan salt. So if you can't do Celtic salt, pink salt is just fine. Make sure you have good quality. I'm now using Celtic salt. There's actually a salt above this that's even better than Celtic salt, which is Baja Gold. I'm not using that one because I had already bought the Celtic salt, but I take this, I put a pinch in my water. This helps with your electrolytes. And I'm going to explain in a little bit why I personally have to limit my electrolyte drink intake. But so this is what I use. This water right here, this just has salt in it. I'm so used to it, I don't even taste it anymore. Okay, so non-negotiable. I do this. Now, this coffee that I have right here, I just made this. My coffee in the morning before I go to the gym is not your regular old coffee. It is a power coffee, guys. Like it is just the best. I love the taste of coffee. For those of you who followed me for a long time on social media, you know that I didn't have coffee for a long time. As I was working on healing my gut, I had matcha. I love matcha. I do cinnamon sometimes. Sometimes I do ginger in my matcha. Sometimes I do lavender. Matcha is just one of those like versatile things. If you don't like earthy tastes, you may not like it, but I personally love matcha. But I also love coffee. I've been drinking coffee since I was a little girl. It's part of Portuguese culture and with milk. So I don't do black coffee. But my coffee is in the morning before I go to the gym because I've tried different things. So I have to make sure it's not too heavy or else it doesn't sit well. One, I put butter and I put MCT oil, okay? Organic MCT oil. And there's different chains. I'm not going to get into it. This is so good for your gut, for your motility, for lots of things because it has omega-3s and we need good fats in our diet. So here's two things that I've already talked about. I'm going to put links to all these things in the show notes in case you want to look at this. You could get any one you want. Just the one thing that I recommend is always go for good quality, and especially with supplements, check out and make sure that it's third party tested because you want to make sure that what you're getting is what it says it has because supplement industry is not regulated. Okay? So that's these two things here. So I put grass-fed butter. Now I've done unsalted and salted. I prefer salted, but you do your own thing. You may not like it. I now actually, when I don't have butter in my coffee, I'm like, oh, I wish I put butter in my coffee because I love it. It makes it smooth. And the other thing that happens is if the acidity in the coffee is too high for your stomach, make sure like if you can't handle it well, having the extra fat with this and the butter actually helps with your stomach. So that's one thing. The other thing is the quality of coffee. Coffee has pesticides. If you're going to go to Dunkin', you're going to Starbucks, listen, I go to those places. I'm not here to say I don't. I do. Okay. But on a regular basis, you want to have the cleanest coffee possible. And I know that it's not cheap, but I'm telling you right now, hospital bills are not cheap. So you pick. You're either going to spend some money before or you're going to spend massive amounts of money later. Okay, so I've done both, and I'm telling you right now, I'd rather do it this way. So I use some good coffee, low acid because of my stomach, chemical free. Make sure there's no pesticides, organic. This is the one I use. There's also another one that I've used that I liked. I'll link both of them. Okay, the other thing I put in there is before collagen. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to keep using collagen. I'm going to be honest because I've heard mixed things about collagen, not that it's bad, but that it may not be doing much. Now, what I will tell you is when I go a long period of time without using collagen and then I use collagen, I notice a difference in my face, which by the way, I am makeup free right now. I was about to put makeup on after I took my shower. You can see my hair is a little moppy. But I decided not to because I wanted you guys to see my face because there's a big difference in my face. Like I'm 43 years old. Okay. I've gotten son, I've had kids, I do all the things, okay, just like everyone else. Now, genetics plays a role, I'm not going to lie. So anyone who sits there and tells you, I don't have any work, I don't have any Botox, I don't have fillers, I have nothing. Everything you see on me is natural. I'm not knocking anyone who has had work done. You do you. But I'm just saying, I don't have any work done. All of me is natural. I pride myself in that, and I'm going to go with that. I'm going to tell you why. recently in my health journey, as I've been diving into things, I listen to all sorts of people and all sorts of things. And I've looked into Botox and fillers and all these things. One thing I will say is a lot of these fillers, I'm not going to say all because I don't know, but when I look like Botox and stuff like that, they're neurotoxins. And I understand it may be a little bit, but listen, I want my brain sharp. So I don't want to put anything into my body, even if it's cosmetic, that's going to negatively affect me at some point or potentially affect me. So I've decided to go the natural route. I'm not looking to get younger. I'm looking to age gracefully and healthy. I have some premature aging that has occurred, especially because of chemo. So yes, I'm working on undoing that premature aging, but I'm not looking to get younger. I'm just looking to age gracefully and healthy. So I don't know because, this costs money, but I may. The one thing with collagen is there's lots of people selling collagen. And let me tell you something. Some people, especially with MLMs, they sell some super duper, very expensive collagen. And I've done a lot of research on this because I love supporting local business and people. Like, I've been part of MLM as well. You want a collagen that's type 1 and type 3. Those are the two types. Everything else is mumbo jumbo. The other thing you want is you want hydrolyzed, I guess is how you say it. You want to make sure it's third party tested. You want to make sure that it's bioavailable. Okay. You don't want it just going through your body. Aside from skin, it helps joints and all that stuff. But this one doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Third party tested, did a lot of research on my own. No one told this to me. I just bought it. So just be careful because some of those frou-frou ones you get from MLMs, they have every type of collagen except 1 and 3. So no, thank you. So I put that in my coffee. The other thing is before a workout, we need some carbs. We need some sugar to get some energy. So we have the caffeine from the coffee, but I also add maple syrup. So for sweeteners, I do use, what's the type of sweetener in Truvia? I can't think of it right now. But stevia. I do use stevia, not Truvia, not anything you get from the stores. I get one that literally just has stevia in it. It doesn't have some fillers because stevia, you have to use such a little amount. They have to put fillers in there. No fillers, just that. I use that primarily with matcha because I like the way it tastes, but I hate the taste of sweeteners. So what I use in my coffee, actually, I've switched over to recently, is maple syrup. I actually enjoy the taste. Or I do turbinado sugar, and recently I've tried monk fruit. So I alternate between them when I'm doing sweeteners for different things, just because I think overdoing that kind of stuff is too much. I've cut out sugar I'm talking about 90 to 95%. I'm clean without sugar and without processed food. So I'm pretty clean there. That makes sense. Okay. Now I go to the gym. I do my workout. I got my water with my electrolytes in it. Why don't I do regular electrolytes? Sometimes I use Element. And sometimes I use Noon only because I have so much, but I don't do regular electrolyte drinks because of the citric acid. I actually can't do a lot of drinks because of citric acid. When I went and got tested, in addition to gastritis, obviously I went through a lot of testing when I was going through my treatment. I also had esophagitis. It started with gastritis. It actually got worse. And one of the things that they had me cut out, so this is something I've cut out, is citric acid. Citric acid, I should do a podcast episode just on this. Citric acid, people think of lemons and oranges and things like that, but it's actually produced in a laboratory. It's natural in a sense because it does come from those fruits, but it comes from the mold of those fruits. So it's actually black mold. That's the citric acid. And I am extremely sensitive to mold, and the doctor told me to cut it out. So I did. So I always have to look. Most electrolyte drinks, even the cleanest ones, have citric acid. So look into that yourself. I'll leave that at that. Then I come home and I have protein. So let me tell you something. I hate protein powders. hate's a strong word. I dislike. I don't like the taste. I always have a hard time having them, but I know that they're good for supplementation of protein because I recently have uptaken my protein. So now I have at least 100 grams of protein a day, ideally 130. It's just a lot for me. I definitely was chronically under eating for years. So I think that's part of the reason I've just gained weight as well, not only because of the muscle, but I've also increased my calorie count naturally because I'm getting more protein in. So my body is adjusting. My metabolism was so used to that chronic underfeeding that my metabolism is going. And at some point, I'm going to go through a cut, but right now I'm still fueling because I'm just focused on building muscle. I want to get healthy. I don't want to get skinny. Okay, so protein. I found this protein, guys. I have it almost every day. I don't dread it. I love it. It's unflavored protein. I could not do whey protein, so I was doing vegan proteins. But one of the things I noticed recently was that when I would have a protein shake, I would get a massive headache all the time. So I didn't even want to have it. So I wound up doing some research because my stomach I've been working on my stomach for over a year, right? It was actually getting better and I could tolerate dairy. So I looked into whey protein. I found this one. Thankfully, my local Target and Vitamin Shop have it, but you could buy it from Amazon as well. As 25 grams of protein. There's only two ingredients in here. So it's whey and soy lecithin, which is the only thing I don't like about it, but it is what it is. Zero carbs, has no flavor. I put this in coffee sometimes. You have to do it with cold. So just maybe I should do a little podcast snack about that. But I put it sometimes. I create my own horchata. I don't know if you guys know what horchata is, but I love it. So I create it with I get some milk, high protein milk like Fairlife or something. I add a scoop of this. I put a teaspoon of cinnamon in there, a touch of stevia, and oh my gosh, totally I have pleasure in having this. The other thing I add sometimes to my coffee, sometimes to my protein drink is creatine. I've been taking creatine for a long time on and off. And then I recently started taking it consistently. I think I'm on month 4. I take this 5 grams a day. This is so good on so many levels. I'm not going to get into it. There's so much material out there. So definitely look into this. Whether you're lifting or not lifting, women, please, creatine is your friend. Go take that. Okay, so that's post. Now, when I go have breakfast, I'm a breakfast person. I love my breakfast foods. So I really focus on having a high protein breakfast, and it is my largest meal of the day. So my largest meal of the day is breakfast. It's very heavy. So I tend to eat it. If I don't eat it right after my workout, and because I had a shake, then I eat when I can eat. And I make sure that I fill up because you're better off eating heavy in the morning and lightening as the day goes on so you go to sleep, and we'll get into that. Okay, one of the things I actually have here are Brazil nuts. I've been doing this for we're in 2025, so beginning of 2024. I have 3 Brazil nuts a day, just 3. I don't eat this because I enjoy, I mean, it tastes good to me, but I eat this because it's supplementation. It's great for hormone health. Look it up. I'm not going to get into it. So that's one. Okay. Now, supplementation that I take in the morning. Hopefully I'm making sense and this is logical in some form or fashion. Okay. I had low vitamin D. Most people have low vitamin D. Look this up. There's enough research. I've been taking vitamin D for a while, but I recently worked on upgrading the quality of my supplements for bioavailability and making sure that I'm getting vitamins that are actually doing something, because some of this garbage that we buy in the pharmacy just isn't doing anything. So I missed something in my morning routine. Let me talk about this first, and then I'll go back. Okay, so I take vitamin D and K2, and I started doing drops instead of pills, okay? So I put this. Now, when you take this, you need to have fat with it because it's fat soluble. So that's why I usually take it with breakfast, or if I have my power coffee and I have my butters and oils in there, then I'll do that. So I do vitamin D with K2 because K2 helps the absorption. And I also use iodine. This is good for women for hormone health. So look this up. So I put a tad of water because the iodine does not taste good at all. But you know what? Suck it up. It's your health. Got to do it. So I put 3 drops. I'm not going to say how much I put of this because this is very individual of the D, but I put my drops in there. I gulp it and then I fill up some more water and I kind of just drown out the taste of the iodine because it's not great. And if I have my coffee ready, that helps get rid of the taste. So that's one. The other thing I do in the morning now, this is a new addition, is fish oil. So good for women going through perimenopause. Definitely check it out for health. I think it's great for men too. So that's one. Okay, so what's this one? Okay, let me leave that one. Okay, and then I take this I take on an empty stomach. I've had anemia or low iron since I was a little girl. It's just, again, bioindividuality. It's just me. So I have the feeling that's why my VO2 max is low. I don't know. It is what it is. But I recently had blood work done and I worked with someone to interpret it and I got an iron that's good for me. Again, this one was pricey, high quality, third party tested, bioavailable. I take this one on an empty stomach with vitamin C. I do not take vitamin C supplements because they're absorbic acid and I'd rather just have clementines and orange, so I keep fruit available. So when I take this, I eat it along with fruit. So the vitamin C for absorption. Okay. Now let me go back to my morning routine because I missed something. Sometimes I do this in the morning, sometimes I do it before bed, but I want to talk about this here. Okay. Red light therapy. Have you heard of it? If you haven't, you should, and you need to look it up. There's a lot of science behind it right now. Like creatine is one of those things, it's one of the most studied supplements out there. So this is one, like, it's obvious. Okay, so look it up, tons of studies. Red light therapy is one that's coming out. I have a Planet Fitness next to me. Planet Fitness has a red light bed therapy. So if you go there and you didn't know that, not all their beds are tanning beds. They have a red light therapy stand up along with a shake plate. Shake plates are great because it helps with your lymph drainage. So it's great for detoxing and all that stuff. Red light therapy really helps open up your blood cells, oxygenates, opens your veins, all this stuff. There's so much good stuff. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to explain that right now, but look into it. If you don't want to spend money on red light, you don't have to, because nature provides it. First light and last light. So sometimes when I come back from CrossFit, I'll have my protein shake and then I go out for a walk because it's so early in the morning. And here in Florida, our sun, like in New Jersey, sun rises earlier in the day than it does here in Florida. So I go for a walk and I get it. And during those times of days, you can actually look straight into the sun if you want. You do not wear sunglasses. Make sure you have as much skin as possible showing. And that's one of the reasons that I like the red light bed, because you can go in there butt naked and exposed to everything. My brother has been going now for, I think, over a month. And he's the one who told me, he's like, listen, you got to do this thing. If go and do it for a month, and if you don't see any benefits, I will pay your membership back. That's how confident he was. And if you know my brother, he's not this type of person. But he has had sunspots go away. His eyesight's better. Like his energy, he said, is up. And recently he said his allergies are like gone. He's always suffered from really bad allergies, taking steroids and everything. And he's like, it's incredible. So there's so much benefits. Look it up. Sometimes I do both. I'll go for my morning walk. I'll go to the red light bed. And then, and I'll do a night walk now, an evening walk, last light. If you go online, you can look up your city and state and say, hey, I live in this place. What is the best time to get red light? Because red light, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's there. So there's two types of red light. There's red light that you can see, and then there's infrared light, which our eyes cannot see. And that comes from the sun as well. So that morning light, last light, UV is low. You don't have risk of sun damage or anything like that. So definitely look into that. That's been a game changer. And to be honest, I actually think it's improved the quality of my the skin on my face. I have a lot less lines. I definitely see a difference in my sunspots, especially to the places where I know that I'm getting exposure in the bed. And I do think that the shake plate has helped with drainage. So I've noticed my face is thinner and what was the other? Oh, my stomach's smaller. And I really just think it's inflammation coming down. The other day, I was looking in the mirror in the morning, barefaced like I am now, and I said out loud, "There you are." And it's because I feel like I haven't looked like myself in years. And I know chemo and all that didn't help. I had surgery and all that stuff. But it was so nice to look in the mirror and say, there I am. That's me right there. That's what I look like. And it's just something that I want for everyone. Okay, go through the day. Listen, I make no money from this podcast. If anything, I spend money to make this podcast every week. It's just a passion. I love it. Hopefully, one day I can make money off of it. But I do have a full-time job. So, like right now, I'm on lunch break. We've been going for 36 minutes, and I have to get back to work after this. So, I work during the day. Now, I have an office job. I get to work from home. I have that privilege. But I used to work in an office, and even when I worked in the office, I did do this. I was much younger at the time, but I still did this with friends. So, I try and go for a walk at least once a day in the middle of the day. Sometimes I actually do 2 or 3 walks. Now, my block, well, I skip a block, but like my block is probably about 0.7 to 3/4 of a mile. So I get up. If I know I have like 15 minutes, I go and I do that. Just a stroll. I don't rush. It's just because one, it decreases my cortisol levels. Walking is great. Like if you have a stressful moment, if you have a stressful situation, if you've been on a call, you feel like a little antsy, get up, go for a walk, do some jumping jacks, do some squats, do some lunges, do something to exert energy because your cortisol is high and you need to burn the cortisol. Because if you don't burn that cortisol, your body will store it as sugar. So you got to burn it. So that's been a game changer for me too. You have lots less aches, less back pain. Just get moving. One day I should probably do something about like mobility and stuff that I've been doing because that's been a huge help. Okay, end of day. Intermittent fasting is something I've been doing now for probably a year. I'm not too strict about it, but I at least try to go 12 hours without eating every single day to allow my body time to digest and to have a break. Our bodies need a break. We're not meant to eat a million times a day, all day long. Our body, when we're sleeping, our bodies are supposed to regenerate, rejuvenate, and restore. So even from digestion. So big thing for me is I try to finish up dinner and done by 5, 6 o'clock. If I can't and I have to eat later, then usually what I do is I make sure I go for a walk after, or I go clean. I do something to exert energy, make sure that my sugar comes down before I go to bed and that I've exerted the energy from the food that I've taken in some capacity. So that's been a game changer for me. I think that made a difference in the 20 pounds I lost last year. Okay, so dinner and done, go take a shower, nighttime routine, whatever it is, shower. Sometimes I do Epsom salt bath. Sometimes I don't take a shower if I showered earlier in the day. It depends. But showers are good for relaxing, whatever. Once I go for my red light, or I've had my red light, I've eaten, I'm kind of in that, I'm getting ready for bed. I put on my red light glasses. Okay. This helps block out blue light because blue light keeps you awake and increases cortisol. It's what gets you going. Listen, cortisol isn't a bad thing. Okay. We need it. it actually makes our brains function. But when it's too high all the time, fight or flight, I lived like that for years. It's not good for you. So I've been working on this a lot. So I get to a point, I'm settling in, my glasses go on to start signaling, "Hey, it's time for it's time to get ready for bed." The next step that I'm going to take is I'm going to get some uh red lights for my lamps in my room so that if I do need to have a light on, it's red, and just gets that melatonin start increasing naturally in the body. I don't like taking melatonin. Okay, guys, let me tell you this now. Game changer. If there's one thing that I am so like, guys, you have to try this, but try it. One, always talk to a medical professional, do your research. Everyone's different. So just because I take the amount I'm about to tell you does not mean you need to take that amount. Okay. I've been playing with this and I've changed up what I'm doing this last week. And I am telling you, every single day I have had magnificent sleep, and I haven't had good sleep in like 2 years. Okay. And I have a watch that monitors my sleep. Okay. So I know, like, I see the trends I could see. I know the watches aren't the most accurate, but like, I have a baseline to go off of. And this has helped me so much. I'm getting less sleep because I'm waking up so much earlier than I used to. So that was really hard for me. So the quality of my sleep, even if it's less, needed to be top notch. So this was a focus of mine, and I've gotten the trick here for me. This is what works for me. One, I guess I'll start with what I had been taking. I've been taking magnesium. I wasn't consistent with it, but I've been consistent with it now since I started CrossFit. So I would say about 2 months. Okay, because we need it. It's why I put salt in my water. We need electrolytes. Magnesium is key. Everyone talks about it. You need it for your muscles. And I've really been focusing on building muscles. So protein, creatine, collagen, all the things is to help me build my muscle. That's why I don't mind that I've gained weight. Okay, so I've been taking magnesium. Magnesium, there's different types of magnesium, and while they're all needed, each one kind of does something a little different. They all affect your muscles and relaxation, but kind of in different ways. So, for example, magnesium citrate helps you poop. So, if you're a little, backed up or whatever, take some magnesium citrate. Epsom salt baths is great because it has magnesium in it too, and that helps loosen things up and get it going. But recently I bought this tri-blend. Okay. So it's called Triple Complex, non-GMO, good quality. It's not the cheap one, but it has malate, glycinate, and citrate. So it has a citrate, which helps with motility. It has the glycinate, which helps with sleep. And I don't know exactly what malate does, but this is a high absorption formula, third party tested, methylated. Okay, I'm not going to go into what methylated is, but I'm going to give you podcasts for you guys to look into, stuff like that. Okay, now I take this every night. But when I was taking magnesium glycinate by itself, I had noticed a difference. So in addition to taking this triple, I take one magnesium glycinate. This is the I'm not going to say the least quality that I have, but this is like a pharmacy one that I've gotten that just has worked for me in the past. So I decided to stick with it. It says to take two, but I just take one because I already take this complex. Guys, like, you have to do research for yourself. I'm just sharing what I do and what was a game changer for me and the reason why it's working. Okay, so I take before I go to bed, I take this. And you know what I've added that I thought was a bunch of hooey? I'm telling you, I thought it was hooey. Ashwagandha, okay? Not ayahuasca, because some people get that confused. Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is supposed to help with your cortisol levels. And as someone who has experienced trauma, both emotionally, mentally, and physically, that's something that I've had to work with. Fight or flight. I still am dealing with a situation. One day I'll tell my story, but it's a legal situation with my ex who perpetuates abuse through the legal system. And, there's a physical concern, safety concern for us. So fight or flight was like normal, but I'm just at the point where like I can't live like this anymore. So I'm doing things to support my body to help keep my cortisol levels down. So I started taking ashwagandha. Now you can do ashwagandha, the entire plant, or ashwagandha root. I've done my research. I've gone with ashwagandha root. Again, this is a good quality, third party tested. And I take one before bed with my magnesium. Guys, unreal. Like, game changer. I can't even tell you. Now, I've taken ashwagandha in the past and it did nothing for me. So this time, because of the research I had done, I went with a good quality. Makes such a difference. Game changer. So now I take one in the morning. And because you can take one twice a day. So since it was working so well for me at night, I take one in the morning because that helps with stress, keeping your cortisol down, blah, 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 all that stuff. So game changer. Amazing. Okay. So last thing that I'm going to share, that kind of goes with nighttime too, but morning and whatnot. Okay. The other thing I did was I got rid of toxins around me. We're not doing bad on time, guys. Okay, this is good. I thought this was going to be really long. The other thing that I did was remove toxins. Okay, so no more plugins, no more fragrances in the house. I have diffusers and I run essential oils in my house. Okay, I have ones that I like that don't smell weird. My favorite is lemongrass. It's the one I use. People come in my house, they know I'm running the diffuser. It's what I love. Sometimes I run lavender. There's different ones, but I do it because I'm trying to get rid of the toxins out of my body. I don't want to smell it. Okay. So that's one that I do. Let me look at my list because I had made a list of things that I stopped doing as well. The other thing I've eliminated from my diet since I got my, when I had gastritis, game changer too. I think this is a big reason I lost 20 pounds. And it's going to sound crazy. You're not going to believe me, but I'm telling you, it's the truth. And my husband's brother removed this from his diet as well and lost significant weight. Tomatoes. I don't eat tomatoes. I'm telling you, I eat a tomato and I can feel the heartburn instantly. I was off tomatoes for the longest time. And one day we went to a Mexican restaurant and I ate salsa with my chips. Bad idea. That was a year ago because it was when Anna had prom. And I don't do it. The only time I do it is if I have pizza, but that's not a lot. And it's such a minimal amount, doesn't make an impact, but no tomatoes for me. Nope. The other thing I changed was, let me see if I have anything else that I removed. Okay. Okay, I've covered everything. Oh, one more thing that I didn't cover, but I'll cover that. Okay. So let me just continue here. Okay, so fragrances. Lotions have fragrance. Natural flavors is another one with food. Listen, natural flavors are not natural. Okay? They're not good for you. Do some research. If it says natural flavors, minimize or remove. Okay, same thing with citric acid. Citric acid is one of those things that's almost impossible to remove completely because everything has citric acid. It is quite insane. Food products, again, food products, not food, food products, drinks, like almost every drink out there other than water has citric acid. And you know what else has citric acid? All our cleaning products. All our cleaning products have citric acid. So go do your research there. Fragrance, no good. So I'm going to tell you some body stuff. What do you call it? I don't know, body stuff. Listen, guys, this is crunchy. I get it. I know. I wouldn't consider myself a crunchy person. I'm very plain Jane, to be honest, as you can see. But with this, call me crunchy. I don't care. Okay, one, I've changed this about 6 months ago. Changed my toothpaste. No more fluoride in my toothpaste. We're over the fluoride. We're done with it. Okay? Unnecessary. My teeth are better than they've ever been. I'm telling you this right now. My teeth are healthy. I can feel it. So I use this one. You don't have to. There's other ones, but just look for fluoride-free toothpaste. The other body product I use is deodorant needs to be clean. Okay. I've been working on this because I'm telling you, I know that the cleaner deodorants just don't work as well as the regular ones. If you're going to go with a regular one, at least do aluminum free and paraben free. Like, at least do that. Um, but this one I got because most deodorants, first of all, Native is a great brand. So I have Native brand shampoo and I have Native brand lotion that I use on my hands. Okay. Um, they do, the shampoo and the lotion does have some fragrance in it, but it's the only ingredient in there that's not great. The nice thing about Native is that they list all of their ingredients on their packaging and tell you why it's there. So it's clean and they're honest and authentic. This one I got, and I got this particular scent because it's the only one that does not have fragrance in it because they use essential oil. So it's why I use this one. Okay. And I've had no problem with it. I go out for runs. We live in Florida. It's hot. This has worked great. Um, okay, skincare. That's what I meant to say. Skincare. Why couldn't I think of the word? Okay, lotion on my body, not on my face, on my body. I use coconut oil. I've been using this since 2015. Coconut oil on my skin. My daughters, every time they touch my skin, they're like, "Your skin's so soft, your skin's so soft." It just works for me. Some people, it doesn't, from what I've heard, doesn't work that well. There are times that I'll literally just have the coconut oil bottle in itself and just plain old coconut oil. This one was actually one that I made. This has coconut oil and lavender essential oil, and I fluffed it up so that it was softer and not so hard, because obviously sometimes you buy it. Now in the summer, it's probably going to melt a little bit because of how hot it gets here. But you want cold pressed, unrefined, extra virgin coconut oil. Don't get refined. If it does not smell like coconuts, no good. No go. Throw it out, garbage. I mean, not garbage. You can use it for cooking, but for your skin, you want as pure as possible. Okay, now on my face. I've been using this for years. And I'm using it because there was a woman, I was at a meeting one time, and she was in her 60s. And when she told me her age, I just about fell over because this woman did not look like she was in her 60s. And I've never been one for like a huge face routine. Okay, I'm like, I clean. Oh, that's what I forgot to bring, my face wash. I clean and I got one lotion on. That's it. I don't wear a lot of makeup all the time. It's one of the difficult things about doing podcasts because I had to put makeup on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just not a fan. So today I was excited because I didn't wear it. But she told me what she did. And all she did was use argan oil. That's it. She doesn't use lotion. She doesn't use hydro whatever acid. She just uses this. So this is an organic argan oil. My daughters now use it. It's good for your hair too if you want. But when you put it on your face, after a little bit, it's not oily and you could put your makeup right over. Just let it kind of soak into your skin a little bit. I have some on right now actually because I had taken a shower before we went here. But that's it. This is all I use. I have a very gentle skin cleanser that I use, and every other day or so for exfoliation. I have this, I should have brought it, I forgot it. I have this little facial scrubber thing that I use with that sensitive skin, very light cleanser, nothing harsh. I do that, get rid of it. I do this. I razor, I don't wax anymore. Not because waxing is bad. I just don't, I hate going to salon is not my thing. Okay, last nighttime thing. I'm going to end with this, I guess. Before I go to bed, most nights, not all nights, I had done this for a while and then I stopped and I started doing it again. And I actually think it's also, in addition to the shake plate, I think it's why my face got a little bit thinner recently. So this was going around TikTok shop for a long time. It was like a hit and I gave in, I got it. But let me tell you, it's great. And there's science behind it. But one of the things this has is, let me show you. Hopefully it has a battery. Oh, it may not have battery. Oh, no, it does. Okay. So it has different colors, you see? Hopefully you could see. Yeah, you could see there. It has different colors. So at nighttime, because I do it at nighttime, each color does something different. If you buy the machine, it tells you what the colors do. And there's one that actually heats up, which is nice. But I do the red at nighttime before I go to bed. I have my little blue. So this is me at nighttime, okay? I got my PJs on. I got my glasses on. And then I have to take them off. Can't use the glasses because I have to go up my face. So not only is there the color, it's also vibrating. So it's great for lymph drainage and just kind of gets things moving, right? Moves that fluid in our thing. So I just sit there while I'm watching TV and I just kind of run it over. And I do it slow, do it all over my face. I do it on my neck. I come up. And the vibration, along with the red light, it's kind of opening and dilating those blood cells, as well as vibrating to get things moving. So I love this. Seems like a stupid contraption, but let me tell you, you go into a red light bed, you're going to think it's stupid too. You feel like it's doing nothing, but it is doing something. There's lots of studies on it. So got to look at the science. Consistency is key. So guys, let me end by saying this. Do not go and start all this right away if you're not doing it. Okay. What I would recommend is pick one of the two. Okay. You want to start small steps, habit stack. So start with one or two things. What is the thing that's most important to you right now? Okay. So pick that, do your research, decide you're going to do it, be consistent with it, because doing it once or twice, doing it for a week and then not doing it and then doing it again, that doesn't work. You have to be consistent. So even if it's every other day to start, whatever it takes, be consistent, pick one or two things, whatever is most important to you. Or instead of what's important to you, maybe you want to go with quick win. What's a quick win? What's a habit that's going to be so easy for you to stick to that you're just going to start there, because that win, that victory is going to make you feel good and get you motivated to then do the next thing. So again, as easy as this is, as easy as that first step is, don't do it and then be like, okay, I'm going to go add another thing. Let it become a habit where when you don't do it, you notice it right away. You're like, oh yeah, got to do that. I mean, my vitamin D every morning and the creatine and the collagen, that's like, I know when I don't take it because it's just part of my day. I don't even think about it. I know this seems like a lot, guys. Trust me, I get it, because I've been debating sharing, but I'm like, God, if I share all this stuff, it's going to really turn people off, because this is a lot of things. And then you have the exercise and it seems like it's taking up a lot of time, but I'm telling you it's not, because now it's habit, right? It's a lifestyle. We're going for a lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, and yours may look different from mine, and that's okay. We're going to have different goals, okay? So like I said, right now I'm working on building muscle. I'm having a lot more protein, a lot more calories, a lot more stuff. At some point, I'm going to go into cutting. I'm going to cut my calories, like this whole thing. That's a temporary thing. But my workouts, when it comes to exercise, the one thing I will tell you is do what you love, okay? Don't do something that you're going to dread doing every time you go do it, because you having that nasty attitude during it, or like feeling like it's an obligation, or hating that you have to do it, that's going to impact your cortisol levels, your mood, your hormones, the whole thing. So find something you enjoy. Pickleball, walking, jump rope, swimming, whatever, just do it. Oh, another thing that's great for health. I don't do it a lot because I don't feel like driving. My husband does it all the time because he goes to a gym that has it. Sauna. Oh Oh my gosh, there's so much research out there on sauna. Like some of these things, so much research on sauna use, and with all the toxins in the air that there's no way for us to get around. Sauna is definitely a plus. Now, I do a lot of sweating. I'm outside a lot. I do Epsom salt baths, so I kind of get detox through those things. But so if you have access to a sauna, I'm telling you right now, go at least like 5 days a week if you can. It's that good. I also have a hot tub at home, so sometimes I use that to kind of mimic that heat. But I sweat a lot with the stuff that I do. So guys, this is it. I was up to 20, I had lost 20 pounds last year. Then I hit a plateau. So I lost 20 pounds. I hit a plateau, but I was still doing all the things. I didn't give up. I kept doing it because I know that years of damage, and then I also had to go through chemo that did its own damage. I know that doing all these things, regardless of whether I see the weight move or not, doesn't matter because these are all good things, right? So to me, it's not about being skinny, although I would love to be thinner because I know I can be. To me, it's about health. And that's the shift I had to make in my brain. It's about living till I'm 120 and being healthy, and being strong, because I love that buff look. So it's not about being skinny for me. Now, I know that my body can get down to a certain weight, but I also know that I'm going for more muscle than I used to have. So I don't know yet exactly what my goal is. What I can tell you is that I can lose at least 15 pounds and still have a good amount of muscle on me and be thin. But my weight is not really the goal. Now, since I started CrossFit, I gained 5 pounds. Okay, so I've been at that gain now for a few, like 2 or 3 weeks, but I've lost inches. So let me add this: with the 20 pounds that I lost, I think it's 28, maybe 20. I think I lost 20, 22 inches, I believe, maybe a little bit more. So 20 pounds, 22 inches I lost, which is a lot. But my stomach was still, I had that perimenopause stomach. I had that menopause stomach, and I can't get rid of it. Never had it my entire life. It's like, it frustrates me because I know that my body does, even though I've had C-section, like I've always had a flat stomach. So it's very frustrating, but I've been working on my hormones, and I started CrossFit. I gained 5 pounds, but I lost a few inches. And I lost inches in the places that it matters. So I lost a little bit around my hips, which is good because that's where I carry my fat. So that told me I'm losing fat around my thighs, which is also where you carry weight for menopause. Also, I lost weight around my high waist, my smallest point, and my belly button because my body shape is very hourglass. So I have my smallest waist, and then I have my belly button waist, and I have my thighs. So all those things, I've lost inches there. So that's a good sign. It means that I've gained muscle and I'm losing fat. Now, I'm not losing as much fat as I want to, but recently with some of the things that are new, for example, the fish oil, the ashwagandha, sleeping, being like an expert professional sleeper, and the red light and this thing, I'm telling you, the swelling on my face, which is also a menopause thing, has gone down. So my belly is finally going down. Like I made my daughter stop this morning. I said, Alicia, look at my side profile. It's smaller. Now I know I can get smaller. I'm not where I want to be, but let me tell you something. I am feeling so magnificent. And I was going to skip doing an episode this week, because of all the things we have. But my experience with doing these things is so good that I was like, you know what? I'm going to share this. I'm going to share it. Like I said, I don't make money off this podcast. I don't make money now. I'm going to share links to all this stuff from Amazon if you want to get it. If you buy any of these that I do put from my actual link, I'll make pennies, so it's something. But listen, if you find another brand that you like better, go with that. It's not about you getting what I have. It's about you knowing what is working for me and why I'm doing it. Keep in mind bio individuality, your stage of life. You may be a different age. You may be my age, but not going through perimenopause yet. I'm going through it because chemo kicked me in early. So I'm trying to support my hormones to help me go through it naturally. I have considered bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, and I did a lot of research, and I'm not going to do it. And I know people, they speak so highly of it, and I know for some people it's helped them tremendously. I am not having, I've had hot flashes, so I know what they feel like, but I'm not having it really bad. I used to have to sleep with a comforter all the time. I used to be cold all the time. I'm not anymore, but it's not that bad for me. I do have other symptoms that I'm not going to share here, but I've decided to go through this process naturally. I'm and just let my body do its thing. The only, again, because of my goal, I'm not trying to get younger. I'm not trying to be 20 again. I'm not trying to be 30 again. The only sense of like I'm trying to get younger is not biological age, but like my actual, not chronological age, but biological age, because having cancer and going through chemo and all the testing I did and stuff, it did set me back a little bit, and it aged me a little bit biologically. So yes, I'm trying to at least get back to the age that I'm supposed to be, which is 43. And I want to age gracefully. I want to age naturally and healthy. I want my body to do what it was designed to do by God, because I believe that we're made in the image of God. I believe that God created us, and I believe that if we live the way God designed, it is the best for us, no matter what that means. So I do all these things, guys, because I'm trying to support what God created. Why do I have to take all these things? Why can't I just eat? Well, our soil is depleted, our food system is corrupt. There's all these things that we need to consider. I've done tons of research. This doesn't even feel like anything for me anymore because, again, it's a habit for me and it's worth it. All this money here, because this is money, right? All of this is worth it. I'd rather pay for this than pay for those stupid hospital bills that's completely out of control because of the industry. And I'm not going to get on my soapbox about that because it's just crazy. But it's about health. This is about being healthy. So if you're with me and you want to be healthy, then welcome, because community makes a huge difference for sure. Now, before I go, and I want to say this, if there's something I talked about here that you want to know more about, why, what, when, whatever, put it in the comments below, and then I'll do some short podcasts to dive deeper into each one, or reference someone else's podcast that you can dive into, because again, this is not about money. This is about me just sharing information. All right, let me share some people and podcasts with you that I have learned from and that I absolutely love. And I don't agree with them on everything, but some people I agree with on a lot. So number one, my new favorite is Dr. Gary Brecka with the Ultimate Human podcast. Like, this guy, he's real, he's authentic, he's just genuinely motivated to help people live longer. His story is amazing. He's a human biologist. Go check out that podcast, subscribe to it, follow it. Just incredible information. And he does short reels and stuff throughout the week too. So if you don't, he has shorter stuff that dives into different things too. Another one that I found super helpful over the last year and a half that I discovered and I enjoy, especially from a fitness perspective, is the Huberman Lab. So he's a pretty big podcast as well, and he brings science to the forefront, but he does all sorts of things. So he even did one of my favorite podcasts of his was actually about studying, how to study and remember things. That was so enlightening and helpful that I use that until today. And then Casey means I don't think she has a podcast, but she's a person that if I were you, I'd go follow. Stacy Sims, if you're into fitness, females, excellent. Dr. Stacy Sims. And then Dr. Mindy Peltz is another one. She talks a lot about fasting and all that stuff, and she's really good. I like her stuff. Some people find that her and Stacy conflict in information, but it's not that they conflict. Their audiences are two different audience. So just check them out and see which one fits you more. I listen to both because I like to have a well-rounded understanding and perspective and then decide what's best for me. And I try different things. She has a book called Fast Like a Girl, like fasting. That's something I didn't talk about. Fasting. But she has a book. I have not read it, but I've heard it's so good, and I'm in a community that she leads, and it's fantastic. So that's a great one. Okay, so last two things that I'll share. The fasting. So I mentioned that I intermittent fasted, but one of the things that I've incorporated recently is 24-hour fast to create autophagy. And I have to go to work now, but so autophagy is something that I look to do. It's where in layman's terms, good cells eat bad cells. It's just great for health. So we can dive into that another day. And then the other thing I do is I walk throughout the day. I don't remember if I talked about that, but yes, I did. I did talk about that. So walk throughout the day. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to share, like, comment. Let me know what you want to dive deeper into. Make sure to review the podcast if you've heard other things. If you're faith-based and you want to hear more about how to find your identity, discover your purpose, and step into your destiny, this is a great podcast. I have tons of episodes. But until next time, guys, I will see you soon. Bye.